And Andreas is a very dear colleague of mine. He's a business angel, investor. He's a professor. He's a CEO. He's an author. He just released a very interesting book. He had a variety of roles throughout his career. And I'm so glad to have you on the show here today, Andreas.
Thanks for having me, Sebastian. My pleasure.
Yeah. So before we started, we had a couple of pre-calls. And as I mentioned, you just released a book about digitalization in Georgia, right? Can you tell us a little bit about the story behind this book? And because, there are many books out on digitalization right now.
Yeah, happy to do so. Very unhappy to correct you a little bit because I did not publish a book. I supported an editor's book and contributed together with my co-authors 3 chapters. And actually, this was super exciting. We are, for example, looking into remote work, which is a huge opportunity for countries, also countries that have low cost, low salaries. You already see that those digital nomads and digital workers make much more than the average income in such countries. And what we looked at is how sustainable is it? Can you grow a company? Can you achieve the same performance that you achieve in an office when 1 out of 3 people have never met?
And what is the result in a nutshell?
So the result is, yes, you can. We have a case study, an example, which is accidentally my employer, iGaming. In this company, we went from office work to remote in weeks with the advent of COVID-19. Then we grew drastically, rapidly. And when you look at the survey of motivation, happiness, and stress factors of the employees, we are able to outperform our, let's say, industrial peers from the offices.
This is very interesting. I have the same experience. I have a virtual team. I'm also an investor, business angel, and the companies I'm invested in, they grew virtual teams. We have one startup, they're doing software as a service platform for contract management. We have a team in Argentina, the Philippines. And this is, as you said, with the start of the COVID pandemic, this has been such an immense boost for many companies. Once you're open and once you accepted the fact that people are not physically in the office anymore, it's an amazing opportunity, especially for smaller companies, to grow and to be competitive. Because with remote work, obviously also comes a saving of costs, because when you hire in different countries, they, as you mentioned, have a lower base salary and lower living costs, and which is a win-win for both sides.
So I fully agree. It's a wonderful opportunity. What we were looking at is how long would it last? Because when everyone went into remote, we didn't have a choice. It was new, it was super exciting. And our question was, will it stay at that level, or will we say we want to go back to the offices? We need to have not only this feeling of togetherness, we need to be together. And so far, it seems it goes quite well. Productivity goes up. And we also see in our research that you have to do something about it. You cannot just say, oh, now we are all sitting in our offices. You have to do social things. So usually the business, the technical part works smoothly. You have these examples that when you were in the office, someone shows up 10 minutes late. That means everyone can have a cup of coffee. You have this chat. And what I see in our organization and others, when you do that remote, everyone tends to show up at the minute where you don't have this chit-chat. And I also feel that it's an acquired taste to say, I just called someone, I don't have a topic, I just want to chat. So that is also challenging in video calls. And in this environment, I think we have found a very good solution to attract talent. We have, since we went remote, we have hired more than 100 people. And we onboarded them, and that works nicely.
Yeah, and you have to schedule social interaction. What we do with our team, we schedule check-in calls. So in the morning, quick call, a few minutes, say, hey, how are you? Everything is fine. We have Friday evening or Friday afternoon wine or beer, so virtual wine or beer sessions, where you just connect, share also some private stories to build this connection to your team, which is very important. I mean, people are sitting at home in remote places. Yeah, as you said, this doesn't happen accidentally, that you go to a kitchen, get a coffee and meet someone, have a small conversation. This is something, if you plan this intentionally, then it's working as well. And it's a very easy thing to do.
Yeah, and we are doing the same. So what we have is something that we call lunch roulette. So we do a draw, we let people mingle. So they sit at home, have their lunches together. And usually we don't talk about business. We do it in small, very small groups. And then we traditionally have events. I don't know what they are doing. One is called Whiskey Wednesday and the other is called Thirsty Thursday, and it happens at night. This is also helpful.
Good. Yeah. We don't drink alcohol, of course. Yeah. So Andreas, you got a very interesting history. You had various different roles, worked abroad, and you are a professor at a university. So can you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are right now with this diverse roles?
Yep. It was quite a journey. And for me, my current job, being the CEO of an affiliate online marketing company, is extraordinary for what I have done before. So after university and a couple of years with one of the big four auditing firms, I've always been in industries where we make something, where we produce production lines for cars, for aircraft, where we make power tools, where in the morning you go to the shop floor, you feel the smell of metal and and oil. And this has stopped now. I have, in the real economy, I have been in turnaround and restructuring management, some M&A stuff. So it was not always these super profitable, fast-growing companies. And with iGaming, it's just the opposite. So while when you are, let's say, in turnaround and restructuring, your biggest sorrow is, where are my costs? What do I do with my people? The thing now is, where do I get them? Where can I find my workforce? How can I keep it? And this is, honestly speaking, a wonderful experience. And when you mention my university second side job, I enjoy that as well. So I teach at universities, and this to me is something like a mental holiday. So you are out of your daily business. When you have 30, 40, 50 students, you have to be alert. You have to concentrate on that part, at least make them feel you concentrate. And so this is really an escape from your daily business. So for me, it's a wonderful combination.
I can imagine. And it's also about growth, also personal growth. And you put yourself in different situations and then suddenly in front of a group of students who have also foreign students. So you're professor in foreign university, which is definitely a very interesting side job, as you mentioned it, to give you some different perspectives. When you compare the old economy, so the companies you worked before, with the new economy and the iGaming affiliate marketing business, if you could name two major differences in terms of how to lead the team, what would you say?
That's not an easy one. Maybe I address organization and processes. So when you are in an established company that is 50 or 100 years old, it seems everything is in a stable situation. And my job, especially when you had to bring the company forward out of a not so good situation, you had to get people moving, think outside the box, say we do something extraordinary, why should we stick to all these overcome rules? And in a young company like the one I work at, and also in startups, it's quite the opposite. Everyone is super busy doing something. It's almost like FOMO. I want to do this and this and that. And then you end up in a situation where you go into this way, the next day you go back, and then you turn around. And so I think for the young companies, it's more giving it structure, giving it also a more calm situation from time to time, and say, let's do it once, do it right, and find a reasonable level of experiments to do. So I would say this is one thing. And the other is the seniority of people. When you made your career in a large organization, one way to make it is to avoid mistakes. And this leads to a certain culture, and it moves certain people to the top. And when you are in a young company, I think most people have not seen too many organizations, at least no big organizations. And they have a big advantage. They don't know yet what doesn't work. So they are less risk averse than us old guys. And this is a wonderful combination where you say, how do you direct that in a way that it's to the benefit of the company, to the benefit of the employees, and is fun.
Yeah. This is what I love when I invest in startups. Yeah. Most of the time, those are companies founded by very young entrepreneurs, just from university, and they have such a fresh mindset. They have so much energy, and they are so open, And then sometimes I think, hey, and I come in with my limitations, with being 25 years in business, knowing what doesn't work, and then I often have to keep myself back and not be too limiting on their ideas, because I really like their energy, and they will make their experience soon enough what is working or is not working. And I completely agree. This is very fresh. I mean, I've seen both sides. I'm in business for 25 years. I work for large corporates, banks, central banks, and mid-sized organizations, and now startups. And also in my company, I had people who started their career in my business, so they just came from university, and I have people who retired, they had their last job. And it's so interesting to see this bandwidth of different generations and skills and life experience, and to kind of learn a lot from that.
I'm with you. And I always, when you talk to these young founders, when you see their pitch decks, where at a stage where they just have an idea and a logo, they are daring enough to say, oh, in 5 years, we will be a unicorn. Yeah, of course. And it's possible. Others do it. And to me, it means you really need to have this mix of, let's say, experienced people and daring people. That is usually the way to success. What I see very often is that you have these very young founders who are able to go from 0 to 1 with a solution and an idea, but getting from 1 to 100, setting up a structure, an organization, is sometimes something they have not experienced yet. And often it's something they don't like. So they say, oh yeah, it's my little technical stuff, which I enjoy with a super small team. And this is also interesting to see how such companies develop. It means changing structures, adding people, shifting responsibilities. So wonderful experience, great opportunity to support them as investors as you do.
Yeah, this is the place where we come in. Yeah, when they have the initial idea, and then people like us, we can help them build the structure, the companies, the organizations, and bring, as you said, some calm to the equation, which I really enjoy. So iGaming.com is an affiliate marketing organization for the gaming industry.
Yes.
Many of us, or many of the listeners probably know what it means, but maybe for some, affiliate marketing is a topic which is not so common. So could you explain in a few words what you're exactly doing?
Yep. So I explain it with an example. Let's say Sebastian wants to do an online betting exercise. So what would you do? You Google and say, where can I do online betting? And ideally, we have done a good job with search engine optimization, and you will land on one of our pages. And on our pages, you find reviews, you find lists of operators that offer what you are looking for. And when you then say, that's the one, you click on it, go to the operator and play, bet make a payment, then we earn our money. So this is performance marketing. So for our customer, he doesn't pay anything until he really gets revenue. And our name of the game is to get our pages or domains ranking and make sure that we do good reviews that lead customers like you to go to the page of our customer. That's basically what we do. For that, we have a team of more than 300 people. So we are one of the bigger players in this segment. We are spread in different countries with still offices, although we are remote. We offer office work in Berlin, in Israel, Tel Aviv, in Amsterdam, in Italy. And we also offer jobs that are completely remote all over the world. So we are able to hire in any country in the world.
And I mean, from what I know, is affiliate marketing is quite a booming industry. Talking about how to attract the right employees or how to attract employees, what does iGaming do different towards the competitors in attracting the right people? I mean, okay, you offer remote work, but where's your real differentiator?
We offer development for themselves. We have an excellent team in SEO, in content, where people who join us can learn something, can develop themselves as a person, but also in terms of skills and know-how. And after a few years, frankly speaking, they can decide to start up their own business, to stay with us. And in order to make them to stay with us, we have to be very attractive in our working conditions. And we do things like this, where we do an interview, hope that people see, oh, they are real, they exist, and they have a CEO who at least tries to sound convincing. And with that, we get people on board.
I think there's such a high competition between these employers nowadays. And this is what you do is exactly the right way of doing it. Developing an employer brand, showing personality, showing that you are real and very approachable. Yeah? Often people consider, there's a CEO of a 300 people company. When I remember in the past, those people had corner offices, where you couldn't enter without making an appointment for months. And this has changed in so many companies, which is really good. And all these companies who still practicing this, well, they will realize sooner or later that they will not attract the right talents anymore to work for them. Where do you see the affiliate marketing industry developing to? There are changes in terms of regulation, in terms of data privacy. There's more and more happening. In Europe, we have this GDPR with all these different rules. Cookies are not allowed anymore, or at least this will happen soon. Companies like Apple, they have this anti-tracking feature. So there's a lot of movement against the ad and affiliate industry.
So it's very difficult to say where this will go. So what we see is we have challenges. Of course, we have direct competitors who do the same thing. You have competition from advertisements that you see. You have opportunities like all these YouTubers, influencers, and the biggest opportunity is globalization. So with a few hundred people that we have, we can conquer the world. So we are attacking the American market now, which has recently reopened. We are sure it will be the biggest market in the world in this gambling industry sooner or later. And we have to be flexible. At the moment, you and I, we are facing, chatbots are coming. Artificial intelligence is coming. Microsoft is announcing that they will do something to compete against Google with artificial intelligence. Will that work? We don't know. So our job is to have the right team on board and look for opportunities and threats as well, but concentrate on the opportunities. The screen is the same size for every company.
Yeah, I agree. When I run my seminars and events, often talk about things like the comfort zone, and going out of the comfort zone. And a lot of people, they see things which are out of the comfort zone as problems. Things they haven't done, they might fail, and then they stay inside. Once you made this decision to deliberately go out of this circle, and go for these problems, which actually are opportunities. And I also see an AI, a chatbot, many people see this as a threat. I just read on Twitter that someone lost his job because the employer said, "Oh, we only use the AI now to create your images because we are short on cash." And for them, it's obviously a problem, but this could also be, or it is, in my opinion, a big opportunity, to develop new services, new products, new ways of doing business, to release us humans from mundane work, which no one of us really enjoys, crunching data and things we don't want to do. Now we have a machine, to write you a small script when you want to talk about something, and I'm not in a state to write a speech now. I said, okay, these are my points, give it to the AI, boom, off you go, you get 80% done, and then you fine tune it. And this is how I see it as an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, we are both German, and I think we grew up and are socialized in a way that we think in problems. And we should think in solutions. So I see so many team members of iGaming who are already looking into this AI stuff, experimenting with it. Of course, we have to consider how does Google react when you do all that. But to me, we will have a very, very fast development where people will be, I call them prosumers. So they will contribute to stuff on the internet and they will consume stuff on the internet. And we now have a chance to see an increase in productivity that we have seen in the agricultural industry 200 years ago, that we have seen in the traditional industry, where you need less and less people. And with this knowledge workers, with the digital worlds, there's a fair chance that we have such an efficiency that many of us, or the generation to follow, might not need to use their working power to full capacity to fulfill what mankind needs. And I can really imagine that we are now riding what we call the fourth wave, where this AI and all of that is the robot of the assembly line for the knowledge workers. I think there's a chance that this comes.
Yeah, these are really game-changing times. I always say that 23 is the year of AI. I mean, there's so much coming up, and we just talked about this as investors. We get all these pitch decks from companies who are AI-focused, who implemented something, who developed a solution. You see all these services popping up, and then sometimes you ask yourself, okay, why have I done this in the past manually,
I still experienced when you had your pocket calculator with this paper slip where you had columns of numbers, and people in the beginning did not trust the sum function in an Excel sheet. So in 5 years from now, this AI stuff will be so natural, we will not think about it anymore.
Interesting times ahead. So we talked about your different roles. We talked about iGaming. You're also a business angel and investor. Yeah? So you invest in startups, early stage investment. Where's your focus? What kind of companies are you looking for to invest, and how is it going so far?
I don't have a defined focus, but I have 2 rules. I want to have a good feeling about the founders, and this feeling means they have the stamina to get through it, and some experience and motivation. And the other is I would like to have a certain understanding of what they do. So if I would understand everything, then that would not be the right thing for me. I always say when you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. And that's the same with startups. I have 2 different investment focuses. So on the one hand, I work with a fund where we pick our startups and invest, but that is many startups. And then on the other side, I have some specific startups where I'm close enough to be in an advisory board or really mean something for them. And they, to me, we communicate. And this is about half a dozen. So that's about what I do. I don't have enough time to spend hours and hours with the startups, although sometimes I wish. But still, it's inspiring when you see these people with their spirit getting on a mission.
And I 100% agree on investing in the founders, because we both know that once you started a business, you often have to pivot, you have to change the direction slightly or even larger. And the initial idea is hardly what makes the money in the end. And who can deal with such a situation? Yeah, people who have the right mindset, who have the right skills and the right attitude in going after problems and solving problems, creating solutions and changing the approach when one thing is not working. And this is something I'm also looking for. I also agree on not being the smartest person in the room. I always say hire people who are more intelligent than you, because why do you hire them in the end? Yeah, they should be able to teach you. And yeah, so far I also follow these strategies and this is working extremely well. I'm very happy as a business angel. And I'm always open, same as you, to new interesting investments.
Yeah, maybe to add, I'm also convinced that you need to have a team of 2, 3, or 4 people. So if you're a lone wolf, that is too small a team to start your own enterprise.
You also need this to exchange ideas, to have someone to bounce ideas back and forth and to level each other up. We all have situations where we maybe feel a bit down and not have the energy. And if there's no one around who says, hey, come, Andy, let's go, then these downtimes can be quite long and painful.
Yeah, I'm sure even if they don't admit it, they will have sleepless nights. How does it go on? Have I taken the right decision? Why am I not working for the German government? So, yeah, but they will overcome it.
Awesome. Hey, is there anything else you would like to share with the audience?
For me, what I often see is this leadership aspect. When you are in a young company that is growing or in an established one, and this is maybe a word of advice for people who run their company, who are maybe the boss for the first time, have people reporting to them. I think it's this understanding that some people call it the mission, the team, and me. So it's super important that you are clear where you want to go, that you communicate it to everyone, not only the chosen few. And then be humble a little bit, because you are like the coach in a soccer team. You're on the sideline. Your job is to get the team together, make sure they go after the goal on the right direction, but you are not scoring a single goal. And this is something that I feel and hear is often challenging when you are in such a position for the first time, because you move away from really doing things with concrete results to directing and overseeing people. And more often than not, in the evening, you ask yourself, what have I done? And this, when you grow, is a typical question where new team leads say, is that right? And the answer is yes, your job is to lead a team. And when I was young, somebody told me, if you work too much yourself, you lose the oversight. I know that sounds very mean, but it has a sense of truth in it.
I love your statement, you're not there to score a goal. I mean, it really sums it up, your role as a leader. You are there to build the ground for your team, to empower them, that they score, and you are the coach.
And also, I think you have to get your team behind you, and your role, especially in a larger organization, is to protect your team. So if something is messed up, if something goes wrong, you cannot finger point at your team. You have to take a deep breath, make 2 steps forward and say, that's me. It's my responsibility. It's my team. After that, you should talk to your team in very small groups. But to the outside, it's you. And I think this will earn you the support of any team in the world.
Very wise words from a very experienced leader. Andreas, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure having you on the show. And I'm sure the listeners, they will, they can take a lot from this conversation. And all the best and good luck with the upcoming projects.
Thank you, Sebastian. And I hope sooner or later we have a startup that we can deal with together.